If you look like that against the Justin Fields New York Jets without Garrett Wilson, you're simply the worst defense in the NFL, and it's hard to see how it can get better.
You are Locked On Bengals, your daily Cincinnati Bengals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, Bengals fans, and welcome to another episode of the Locked On Bengals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jake Liscow. He is James Rapien, and we've got you covered here on Locked On Bengals every day since 2016. Every day, through the thick and thin, including this season, which is getting thinner and thinner by the day, which I'm sick of saying, James, as the Bengals drop a disastrous game to the New York Jets. The anemic, pathetic New York Jets make the Bengals look even more anemic, pathetic, inexcusable, a deflating loss, whatever you want to call it. But a game in which we called this a spot where the Bengals had to stay on track, an opportunity for the defense to get right. And they kind of did neither of those things. They definitely didn't do that on the defensive side of the ball. The everydayers heard us talk about that going into this show, which is sponsored by Gametime, where you can save $20 on tickets in the app with promo code LOCKEDONNFL on your first purchase. But James, a game where the Bengals scored 38 points against a New York Jets team that hasn't scored a meaningful touchdown in about a month, was what Mike Greenberg said about the New York Jets after the Bengals lost this game. Outscored 23-7 in the fourth quarter, and the Bengals dropped to 3-5.
Unacceptable, unbelievable to a degree to be that bad. This is the worst defense the Bengals have ever had. Like ever. Certainly in the Zac Taylor era, and I don't want to hear about 2019. I don't want to hear about last year with Lou. Jermaine Pratt, what missed tackles, would have made more plays on Breece Hall today. I mean, there's one guy that can beat you, Jake. There's one guy that coming in, you're like, you can't let 20 beat you. And I talked to multiple guys about that. And now for the third straight week, the premier running back for the other team goes off. 7+ yards a carry last week to Jalen Warren. The week before that, Josh Jacobs had over 5 yards per carry in over 2 more yards per carry against the Bengals than he came in averaging. And then you got Breece Hall doing what he did today. In the fourth quarter, when you have a double-digit lead, that's how you know you have the worst run defense maybe ever, is when you're down 2 scores and you're like, we still have time to run the ball. Joe Flacco hasn't stopped scoring. They keep scoring on our defense, but guess what? We still have time to run the ball because they're going to give us chunks. And boy, oh boy, did the Jets get chunks. And this Bengals defense, well, they blew chunks throughout the game. I mean, it was just unacceptable is one of the many words, but like this is the type of game that switches where let's just say they win 41-39 and somehow kick a field goal late and they win. Well, then you're like, well, at least they found a way to get to 4-4, and all of those other things that are major issues, they live to fight another day where maybe they can rebound. Now at 3-5 with all these issues, it just feels so much different. And I think a couple of things. One, this Al Golden thing, doesn't feel good because they're just not even doing basic things that they should be doing. They're not in the right spot. They're not tackling it with basic fundamentals, all of those things. And by the way, the man that picked Al is Zac Taylor. And boy, oh boy, when it got tight and they needed to go get points, they did not feel good. It didn't feel good down the stretch there with Zac Taylor calling the play. There's a lot of reasons why they lost and folded and couldn't put this Jets team away and then ultimately lost this game. But the more I think about it, the more it's an indictment on Zac Taylor, on the coaching staff. You can always go higher level with personnel and all of those things. But I don't give a damn who's playing linebacker. If Jake Liscow's in there, I'm going to need you to tackle with pretty sound technique and be where you're supposed to be. And that's a reflection of coaching.
You're up 31-16 going into the fourth quarter.
You
just scored a touchdown. You're playing against the Justin Fields New York Jets, and you get run over. Like you said, they're running the ball to beat you in the fourth quarter. Down 2 scores. That's crazy.
That never happens in the league. Like, I watch a lot of NFL football. You do too. Like, that does not happen. That's not a thing. It's not a thing.
And the Jets averaged nearly 7 yards per carry as a team in this game. 37 carries, 254 yards in total. Runs of 35, 50, 25, other explosive runs that I'm not naming as well. Those are just some longs for each player. Isaiah Davis, who I wasn't too aware of before today, going for that 50-yard run. Also had 5 catches for 44 yards in this game. The Bengals on offense averaging 7.9 yards per carry. Actually, a yard better than the Jets, and they lost in a game they were leading. Justin Fields also 21 of 32 for 244 yards and a touchdown, adds 11 carries, including a kneel down for 31 yards. And I just and a couple of 2-point conversions. I don't have anything good to say about the defense today, James. Like, even in the last couple of weeks, there's been at least something. PJ Turner, who was probably the least egregious, but was involved in one of the touchdowns the Bengals gave up this game. What was the bright spot last week? We've had some times where, like, Trey Hendrickson has been a bright spot, or, there's been a big takeaway here or there. No takeaways in this game to save you. They get 1 fourth down stop early in the game, which is almost enough for them to win the game. Just that one stop on 4th down that gets the Bengals positive field position. They score a touchdown, take a 10-0 lead early in this game. Should have been enough, right? Should have been enough for them to put this team away. But what's crazy is, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about how bad this defense was, the lack of a pass rush, the tackling issues, the coverage issues, the inability to take good angles, to get runners on the ground, and you don't even get a tackle attempt. Justin Fields outrunning 7 different Bengals on a 2-point conversion attempt at one point. When the Bengals did force punts in this game, they forced 2. One in the first quarter, when it was 10-0, the Bengals force a punt, have an opportunity to go take a 17-0 lead. The Bengals go 3 and out on offense. The second half, the Bengals force 1 punt. The Jets' first drive of the second half, they force a punt. The Bengals go 3 and out. And despite them not taking advantage of the few stops that the defense did get on offense and the lack of complementary football, you're still up 31-16 at the end of the third quarter, because you did score another touchdown to get to 31 points. And then you score another touchdown to get to 38-24. And it's reminiscent of some of those Baltimore games last year, right, James? We're talking about multiple 2-score, 2-touchdown second half leads. But it's not Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on the other side. It's Justin Fields and Breece Hall and no receivers. Mm-hmm. And despite that, the Jets go touchdown, touchdown, touchdown to finish the game and convert multiple 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
And your offense wilts in the fourth quarter, which have been really good until then.
The Jets had 502 yards of total offense. 502. It's just the second time since 2000 that they've won. The other time was Mike Flight White dunking on the Bengals a few years ago. Yeah. And now this time. So Lou Anarumo, shake hands with Al Golden. You guys are both taking huge L's for this one. And I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying, like, neither one of those should have happened. This one is much worse. Like this could end up, like, if Zac Taylor gets fired, this is the game we point to. Like, if Al Golden doesn't make it, if this season just goes sideways, like, if we don't see Joe Burrow again this year, this might be the reason why. And that really sucks. Like, when you put it in that perspective, it really sucks, because they should have won the game. It's embarrassing that they didn't win the game for a bunch of reasons. And there's some stuff on offense that I definitely want to talk about. But we have to get more on this defense. That is just, I mean, when you have me citing Jermaine Pratt, what missed tackles, as almost a positive, you know things have gone bad. And that's where this 2025 Cincinnati Bengals defense is. We will continue the conversation about this defense coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. You know what I would do, Jake, on PrizePicks from now on? I'll be honest. You make decisions every day, and on PrizePicks, well, being right gets you paid. Next week, any running back the Bengals have to deal with. So next week I'm thinking about, I'm like, yeah, probably should go with the Bears running backs and look at that and see what you can do on PrizePicks. And that's the fun part about PrizePicks is you're not limited to teams or specific players or positions or have to worry about injuries. All you do is pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get them right, well, you win. takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, which, again, if it consists of running backs going against the Cincinnati Bengals, you're probably going to do pretty well. And so PrizePicks is where to go. And it's not just NFL. They have NBA as well. So you can pick your favorite players. Steph Curry, my favorite NBA player, and look at his more or less on three-pointers made, on points, on rebounds, on assists. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right.
We're also brought to you today by Rugiet. Rugiet knows that making excuses doesn't solve anything, and I think that's also true for the Bengals defense. But we've heard all the excuses before. It's just stress. I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. When it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. It helps you. It's easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. And if the prescription is decided to be correct for you, if you get prescribed, your treatment will ship discreetly straight to your door. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rugiet.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL. And don't forget our code, LockedOnNFL, so they know we sent you for 15% off. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves.
I think that's a line the Bengals need to use. Stop making excuses and start making the right moves. And the right moves are find someone that can tackle. I'm done with this. I am so done with the tackle issues. What's the backup? Was Isaiah Davis?
The backup running back for the Jets?
Yeah.
Isaiah Davis. That is correct.
Yeah.
There are a couple Isaiahs. Isaiah Williams also having a revenge game out there.
Yeah. Ridiculous that he had like 5 catches or whatever he had. But Isaiah Davis versus Barrett Carter, I just hear the other day, and I'm talking to Zac Taylor, and we're talking to him, and he's like, yeah, we really like Barrett and all these things. And you better make the play on Isaiah Davis. I almost said Isaiah Thomas. On Isaiah, on the backup, that's not Breece Hall. And instead, it's a 50-yard run. Like those are the type of plays that swing the game and give the Jets momentum and keep the Jets in it when they're done. It's over. And those plays just can't happen. Like if those are going to continue to happen, well, then get his ass off the field. And I like Barrett. But it's the same thing for Demetrius, and it's the same thing for anybody else. Like if you can't tackle, you shouldn't be on the field. And it's that simple. And there are guys that might be too slow, that might not have the athleticism, but they damn sure are going to tackle when they're in a hole one-on-one with someone. And I would rather have that than whatever the heck I watched today. Because what I watched today, Joe Flacco isn't going to be able to overcome it. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins aren't going to be able to overcome it. They're just not going to be able to overcome it. It's going to be too much. And it's, again, I keep going back to the coaches because personnel is personnel. But it's October. And being able to tackle and being in the right spot, those are two things that it's a common theme with this defense, time and time and time and time again.
It's definitely a huge part of the problem. But the thing this week is like it's everything. Everything was bad this week, right? Tackling was a problem for a number of guys. You got missed tackles for 5 different players on defense, at least. And that's the initial charting from PFF. I'm sure it'll feel worse than that when you watch the tape. The Jets didn't tackle well either in this game. And Samaje Perine and Chase Brown, a lot to do with that. But the lack of a pass rush, even if they could tackle, if you pressure the quarterback like 5 times in a game, and Justin Fields, again, according to PFF charting, pressured 6 times on 37 dropbacks, 15% of his dropbacks. And on those dropbacks, by the way, completed a touchdown pass on a 4th and 2 when Jordan Battle, for whatever reason, did not just run through the quarterback on that play. You're going to have a bad day. Your secondary is going to have a bad time when Justin Fields can sit back there for, what do we got, like 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds per pass, and just wait for a guy to get open. I mean, he's still inaccurate. He's still spraying the ball on some of those when he's sitting in a clean pocket. He's still Justin Fields. But Now your two issues. You have no pass rush, and Trey Hendrickson leaves the game after he takes I would call it a very borderline shot. Very easy to call it dirty. Wouldn't blame me if you did. I don't know if I would go quite that far myself. But Trey Hendrickson leaves the game aggravating his hip injury and is not himself in the first place. Nobody else is winning. Nobody else is winning in this game. They get a couple pressures with blitzes. And like I said, one of them turns into a touchdown because your safety doesn't run through the quarterback when he's a free runner. So you have a pass rush issue, you have a tackling issue, and then your young linebackers are getting picked apart in coverage. Barrett Carter targeted 10 times in this game, according to PFF, gives up 9 catches for 84 yards. Logan Wilson targeted twice in this game, gave up 2 catches on those 2 targets for 43 yards, only on the field for 20 snaps in this game. Dax Hill, not his best game, 7 targets, 6 catches, 66 yards. And so you've got gap issues in the run game. You've got tackling issues all over the field. You've got coverage issues. You've got pass rush issues that make your coverage issues worse. And there's just no salvation. I don't know where it comes from. All these guys we're talking about coin flips, like are any of these guys going to step up as pass rushers? Answer is no. Chris Jenkins, Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, Joseph Osai. You can throw BJ Hill into the mix as he came back this year on that extension. Nobody is getting after the passer on this team. And that makes everything else so much worse.
Yeah. If you look at the defensive stats, right? Like if I see the Jets, I see, 2 pass breakups, 1 pass breakup, 1 pass breakup, 1 pass breakup, a sack, multiple tackles for loss. And Joe Flacco was kept relatively clean. You look at the Bengals, it's 4 pass breakups, 3 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hit, and that was Cam Taylor-Britt. Like 1. No pressure, no disruption, no nothing. Like Jordan Battle didn't even get a quarterback hit on that Justin Fields play. Like that's impossible. And yet he didn't. And maybe you disrupt the throw enough if you run straight through him. Who knows? Maybe you sack him. Maybe you force a fumble. Who knows? And I don't think that would have happened, but maybe. And so you're right. I don't know what they do well. Like I can't say, at least they'll be able to do this. And that's why I keep coming back to like the basic stuff. Because even if you suck, at least get the basics down. Like you might not be the most talented whatever writer in the world, but if you know how to type on a laptop, like you at least be able to write a sentence, right? It might not be the best sentence. Mark Twain might not, but it'd be a sentence. They don't even know how to turn the damn thing on, let alone type a sentence, let alone pull up Microsoft Word. Like they're so far behind it. And it's all bad. It's all like this should have been an impossible game to lose after you get the lead. Like after you did the thing that it wasn't like Justin Fields came out and there was a broken play, 80-yard drive, then Flacco strip sack and Quentin Williams recovers. And like those things didn't even happen. So how the hell did you lose this game? And you peed down your leg on offense late, and your defense was so Swiss cheese, and there were holes everywhere. And I agree. I don't know how you plug even a couple of them realistically moving forward. And it's a tough spot to be in.
The fact that it's happening against the Jets makes it feel irrecoverable to me, right? Like this is the worst offense in the NFL. And your defense today was worse than it was against Jordan Love in Green Bay, was worse than it was against Aaron Rodgers in primetime, and just no resistance, right? We talked about the suspect interior offensive line for the Jets. They played great in this game. Talked about the opportunity at left tackle with Fashanu having some struggles in pass protection. There's no pass rush in this game. The Jets have one of the worst pass protection offensive lines in the NFL. If you can't pass rush against one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, and you can't stop a team that's had the worst offense in the NFL, what hope is there against teams that are actually decent on offense in other games? I know every game is going to be different any given Sunday. The Jets, have all their motivation to finally win a game. The Bengals are coming off Thursday Night Football where they're still winless, by the way. Can't overcome that, Juju.
No.
I just don't know where the hope is on the defensive side of the ball right now, and that is just brutal. Meanwhile, the offense, like you said, had chances to finish the game, and I am not going to be too hard on the offense in this game. They largely did their jobs, right? They scored 38 points. But we can talk about Zac Taylor finishing the game. I think throughout this week, because we're not going to get to it today, there's going to have to be more conversation about Al Golden. I think this does go to the top. You mentioned it. It does go to Duke Tobin and the way they're approaching the draft and free agency and the way they've missed on those players, player development. But we'll have to get into it another day as we can get to the offense here, the way the Bengals finished this game, an inexcusable loss to the New York Jets coming up next.
Today's show is brought to you by Gametime. I use the Gametime app, and, well, you should too. I used it to go to Taft Theater, saw Taylor Tomlinson on Saturday. Gametime made it easy. And whether it's that, whether you're thinking, I want to go watch this Bengals defense take on Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears next week, well, Gametime is the perfect app that's going to make it so easy to get tickets, because tickets can be, well, it could be a hassle getting tickets between queues and login screens, all of those things. Gametime makes it simple. You always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price, and all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. And the beauty is they have panoramic views from your seats. And with a couple of taps, you'll get amazing deals on the seats you're looking for. All you have to do is download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDON NFL, LOCKEDONNFL, for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today.
We're also brought to you today by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and if we need an escape from the NFL, and I wouldn't blame you for that, there's no better place than FanDuel to get in on the NBA action, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you missed the start of the game and you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks, and you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. FanDuel has options from in-game bets to futures to NFL, NBA, any sport you can imagine. So keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. So again, if you're looking for a team to make that late push that the Bengals couldn't, maybe the NBA is a better shot. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official betting partner of the NBA.
All right, Jake, let's get to a word Zac Taylor used. Humbling. It was humbling. And then DJ Turner used it, I assume because Zach did. I don't know why in the world they should have needed to be humbled. I don't know why. Like, they were 3-4. Their defense has stunk all year. Early on, it was, oh, well, Joe's hurt and Jake stinks and the defense is on the field the whole time. Well, that hasn't been the case, and you still stink. I don't know what the humbling word makes no sense. I don't know why you would need to be humbled when did you think you arrived? Like, this was a get back to 500 game. I keep pace in the North game. Hopefully the Steelers lose to the Packers and we're only a half game out in the North. And instead it's oh man, y'all can't do anything right game, and at least on defense. And I didn't get that. So that's where I'll start the Zac Taylor conversation.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's a better not lose game was what we called it, right?
Better win. A better win. You better win this thing.
Stay on track, better not lose, must win, whatever phrase you want to use, and just laid an egg. Zach did some good stuff in this game on the offensive side of the ball. There were some cool plays. There's a play action play where Jamar Chase is at running back and they fake a screen to him. They go Noah Fant on the other side on a screen. They get a first down there. Play action game in general in this game was awesome, including T. Higgins' touchdown. Run game, awesome again. And the Jets have a good run defense. So the fact that it worked again this week, maybe they're starting to figure something out in the run game. Does it matter? I mean, can we feel good about that? Really? When you're still losing a game where you put up 38 points, 1-3 in your last 2 years, when you give up 38, when you score 38 points, sorry. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And I know
it's impossible. It's impossible.
Preposterous. Whatever word you want to use.
How?
I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, you see that the on today's show is just a list of adjectives, and we've come up with a few more on this show. But like, I don't know how else you describe giving up two touchdown leads in the second half against this version of the New York Jets. But like, for all the good things that happened in this game, that I want to credit Zac Taylor and the offense for, right? Because it is always multiple things. Nobody wants to hear about that right now. It's Zac Taylor hired Al Golden to come fix the defense. It's not working.
Yeah.
Zac Taylor's made personnel decisions, supposedly. I'm sure the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach specifically in that spot have had something to do with it. But like, coaches heavily involved in the draft process in Cincinnati, right? And I think this does go to Duke Tobin as well. And we'll get into that another day. The way the team is put together, the way it's been coached, when you lose a game like this, it all comes under fire. Because this was the worst team in the NFL, the 0-7 New York Jets. And we thought they might be able to run the ball, but that's all we thought they'd be able to do. And they were able to do way more than that. Getting those stops in the second half where I think Flacco changes it to a pass on that second to last drive, the one that goes incomplete to Jamar Chase, the little screen that's built in there and a run pass option. But then they go 3 and out, and then you get that second and long run to set up a 3rd and 9 on your drive where you need a field goal.
Yeah.
And now your play calling is under fire too, even though you've scored 38 points in the game. And we shouldn't have to talk about play calling when you're 38 points in the game, but last 2 drives, they weren't able to do it.
Yeah, I hated the run call on second down because it just really gets away from you. You have momentum. You're at the 45. You're 20-ish yards away. I didn't mind the shot that Joe Flacco took to Andre on the first down, and Andre doesn't catch it clean before he gets hit. Like, if you watch that slow, I'm not sure he catches that if he's just out there by himself. I'm like, that's what sucks. It's like, if you're ever going to have a chance to catch that ball and absorb the hit, you better catch it clean with strong hands and hold it. And that didn't happen. And I know it was a tough catch and he had to tweak his body or twerk his body back and all those things. But still, it's that second down run. Like, you have to get yards there. Like, whether it's a run or not, you have to get something, because otherwise it's 3rd down, 3rd and long, and you know they're teeing off. And they did, and Joe had to throw it away. Now it's 4th down. Suddenly the game's on the line and all the pressure and the weight of the world's on your shoulders when you were just up 38-24 a few minutes ago. And that's a hell of a place to be. I mean, it's very similar to like what the Bengals tried to do in Green Bay, but the Jets got that stop. They got the sack on 3rd and 8, essentially, that the Bengals couldn't get. And then they're able to get the ball back to their offense, and the offense goes down and scores and takes the lead. Look, I agree. I think Zach in this Bengals offense, they've done a lot of good things, and running the ball in general was really good. But game on the line, you know they're going to double T. You know they're going to double Jamar. And it's not just this week, it's every week. So what's the answer? And you need to have an answer. And if it's Andre, fine. Andre better make the play. If it's someone else, then someone else needs to make the play. But they need to figure that part out, because that's a huge – in like the gotta-have-it moment, it did not feel or look comfortable for anybody involved. And that includes a second down run to Samaje Perine that went for 1 yard. Honestly,
for me, it was all the way back in the 3rd quarter, and they ended up scoring a touchdown on this drive. But when they get to that 3rd and 12, it's like, uh-oh.
Yep.
The things that they want to do aren't
felt
working.
Like a big play. It felt like a big
huge
play for him to do that. Yeah.
It prevents them from punching the ball back to the Jets and keeps the Bengals, honestly, it keeps the Bengals in the lead into the 4th quarter. And to get to that point, and then it was really good after that, after they got that first down. But to get to that point, you have the negative yard on first down, incomplete pass on second down. It was like, uh-oh. Our alarm bell's starting to go off, because you go 3 and out, and then you have 5 straight unsuccessful plays on offense between the first drive in the 3rd quarter and the second drive in the 3rd quarter. Then they figure it out. And then they figured out running the ball in the next drive. They score 2 more touchdowns. They get to 38 points. Great. But like, the cracks were starting to show a little bit for Flacco early in this game. Wasn't great to finish the game. Took a bad hit, which isn't his fault, but left the field altogether. Went into the locker room, came back out, and got back on the field for that final drive. But going to be curious on tape to see how much there was like that tunnel vision on Jamar Chase in this game. Felt like that was the case a couple times. T. Higgins only with 2 targets in the game. That feels wrong, despite like all the cool stuff they did from a scheme perspective, all the success they had in this game. The way it finished, the T. Higgins box score in retrospect. And again, I don't want to blame the offense too much for this one, but they did have chances in the second half to score more points. And you know, we're in the same position we were in last year with Joe Burrow at quarterback, where the offense really has to be perfect. Like 38 points, not enough. They need. think I deleted the tweet before I tweeted. I was like, it's crazy to feel like you need at least 41 points to win this game when you had a 31-16 lead and a 38-14 lead.
No,
that's what they would have needed.
38-24. Yeah, I mean, it should have been over. But let's just go the other way. Let's say it was the other way. And the Bengals rally, and now they have the ball, and it's 39-38, and they got to go score. Well, go score. And I know it's about momentum and all those things, but like you just have to. You just, in that moment, you have to. And guess what? They did it last week against the Steelers. They went and they got their points. And so my fear really is that. What happens? All right, so if Jamar's doubled, T's doubled, where are you going to go? And right now, I don't have the answer. Mike Gesicki's hurt. Andre Yosavash is off to a really poor start. This ground game was working, but you're only going to be able to do so much of that 2-minute drill, under a minute left especially. Unless you're the Jets. They probably would have been able to run it 4 times for a touchdown. So there's a lot. There's so much more we have to get to this week, man. I mean, more with Zach, more on what this could mean for him. Like,
that's a bad loss.
Luke, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot here that I've tried really hard to not dive into yet because I know it's meat on the bone for this week. It's going to be a wild week. Stick with us here, Bengals fans, because it's. I'm not going to say it's going to be a fun week, but we're going to definitely be able to vent with you because we have plenty of thoughts on it.
Stuff that I wanted to get into weeks ago, honestly. And then they trade for Flacco, inject a little bit of life back into this thing, but they've only won one game since then. They started 2-0, 1-5 since then. It's just not good enough. And like, there's small potatoes things we didn't get to today either that I'm going to want to get to. The return game, kickoff return game. Yeah. That last drive, Charlie Jones gets a 22-yard return to the 25. You get that out to the 35, which is the goal. That's the touchback distance, right? You try to get that out past the 30, and then maybe you're in a position where you can play for a field goal. You're on the right side of the 50, and then maybe on that 3rd and 9, if that 3rd and 9 is at the Jets 49 or 45 instead of your own 45, then maybe you only need 5 yards. Maybe you don't need to get the first down. You're obviously trying to play to end the game, and the timeout situation is different, but you don't need 3rd and 9, 4th and 9 conversions at that point. You have a chance to set up a field goal potentially. So like the return game, these are marginal things, but the return game, not good for them this week. And like I said, Isaiah Williams' revenge game, that extended to the kick coverage game too, which still has been bad for the Bengals. So it's everything. Like, we got the offense not finishing despite scoring 38 points, which again, I'm not blaming the offense for this one, but the defense really melting down. The kick game has its own issues. Like, everything is problematic right now. And that goes to draft picks. It goes to the coaching staff. It goes to execution on the field. It goes to play calling on the field. And when you're 3-5 after losing to the winless New York Jets, dropping a game in the division, it doesn't even feel good to speculate about a Burrow return right now with the defense looking like it is. Because even if Burrow plays in this game, like, maybe you can make an argument that those last couple of drives go differently, but they scored 38 points. And they lost those games last year with Joe Burrow, and they lost it again today with the New York Jets, as this defense remains just pathetic. Like I said, James, we'll have more for the people this week.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it. Pathetic.
I think that's the best word out of all the words.
Well, I have some other ones, but I'm not going to use them.
Choice words being avoided here at the end of the Locked On Bengals podcast. We're back with you. We'll have film to dive into. We'll have ramifications to dive into. We'll have how do we get here to dive into, as the Bengals will try to rebound against the Bears going into the bye. That's next. That's this week on Locked On Bengals. Until then, thanks for listening to this episode of the Locked On Bengals podcast.